When I'm walking, people come up and they grab me by the shirt and they're like, Imran, I must know. Are you guys going to make a sequel to Jaane Tu?
Yeah, that's my Instagram DM every day.
About a year ago, I was leaning against the wall to take a picture and my shoulder knocked it off. So I'm responsible for this. There's still something here.
Yeah, there is.
PBS one.
PBS one.
Kabhi Aditi is PBS one, no?
It was, yes.
All right. So we're going to start the conversation officially. Take one.
Action.
Hey, I'm Imran Khan. This is Abbas Tyrewala. We made a film together called Jaane Tu ya Jaane Na.
We did. So how long has it been to Jaane Tu? 2008.
We first met and I came on board the project in 2005, which is 20 years ago, Abbas.
It's actually 20 years ago. How do you feel? Have you seen the movie recently?
I watched it, I want to say 2 years ago.
Yeah.
After a long time. Yeah. I hadn't watched it for 12 years or something more. And then I sat down and I watched it about 1.5 to 2 years ago. And God, it was like rediscovering this dear old friend.
Did you react to it as a movie, or was it pure your journey and the nostalgia and all that, or could you react to it as a movie?
It's both somehow. Somehow the film now to me hit in ways that mean so much more. It was all of our work and journey of making the film.
Yeah.
And this kind of this wistful nostalgia looking like, oh man, I remember that location, or when we went to all of those bits.
Yeah.
And separate to that, it hit me as just as an audience, as a viewer of a film.
Yeah.
It's a lovely film, man. Well done.
So, what are we watching and how are we doing this?
We are watching one of the more violent scenes. Jaane Tu as a film threaded this area of avoiding violence by and large.
ये लड़ाई झगड़ा मुझसे नहीं होता. डैड ने मॉम से एक ही प्रॉमिस लिया था कि मैं कभी किसी पर हाथ नहीं उठाऊंगा. तो तुम लोग डरपोक कह लो, फट्टू कह लो, जो कहना है कहो. Makes no difference.
I now realize that Jaane Tu's basic message was don't try avoiding violence, it will find you anyway. It's actually a very defeatist. you try running away from it, it will find you. Matlab, here's a guy who just doesn't like violence. Look at what all we subject him to. We subject him to a violent girlfriend. We subject him to a violent father.
You can take the Rathor out of Ranjor, but you cannot take the Ranjor out of the Rathor.
We subject him to a violent police inspector.
इधर खड़े रह के आंखों में आंखें डाल के बोला था ना, दोबारा कहो.
We subject him to violent cousins. Subject him to a violent lover of the woman he loves.
And that guy finally is deserving of a little bit of retributive violence.
Yeah, I think so.
So it kind of categorizes it, I think, as these are bad kinds of violence.
Yeah.
This one little one here, this guy needed one.
That's allowed. That's allowed.
We are watching the canteen fight scene from early in the film.
What the hell? Stop it.
इसे तो मैं सीधा करती हूँ. आप कुत्ते दिखाती हूँ.
विवेक तू पागल है क्या? अदिति को फट्टू बुलाया?
उससे नहीं साले, तुझे.
मुझे?
This is one of those classic scenes which is more comic book than life. Very clearly designed by a writer to create a certain impact. But it's actually difficult to believe that people could be so naive. But it's actually a false scene because it's very contrived. And Aditi not only thrives on getting into a scrap herself, but is actually goading and dragging Jay into a fight that he really doesn't want to be a part of. So that's really what this was.
फिर क्या प्रॉब्लम है मैं आऊँ? चल बहुत हो गया. विवेक तू जा यहाँ से यार.
बांध के रख अपने बिल्ली को, नहीं तो मेरी गाड़ी के नीचे आ जाएगी, समझा?
वहीं से तो तेरी माँ ने तुझे उठाया था.
जय, अब अगर ये चुप नहीं हुई ना, तो मैं तेरी धुलाई करूँगा.
जय क्या तुझसे डरता है?
जा जय, मुंह तोड़ के आ साले का.
कौन? मैं?
आना साले. दिलेश हाथ छोड़. दिलेश हाथ छोड़, नहीं तो तेरे चश्मे फोड़ दूंगा.
Okay, so we have to first address the elephant in the room. Shagun. The Shakun that we are talking about is Shakun Batra, an extremely accomplished and proficient and famous director. He's done 2 films with Imran.
We made 1 film.
You made 1 film with him. And he's made Kapoor and Son since then. Then he made Gehraiya. Extremely popular and accomplished director. And he is the person who's playing Nilesh in the scene. And he was the
And
second
later on
assistant on the film, and we just bullied him into acting. It was the last thing he wanted to do.
So he got cast. So this is the character.
This is the character.
where
This
you
is where the character, and
Nilesh.
then he goes on
Then
to
got
briefly
extended.
play Pappu in the song.
पापा कहते हैं बड़ा नाम करेगा मेरा पप्पू तो ऐसा काम करेगा.
And that is why I think we have the kind of reaction that we do to this. It's one of the
hilarious.
endless sources of delight of Jaane Tu.
Go for it, Jay!
अदिति क्या कर रही है? उसका चेहरा देख, वो चेकू मार डालेगा.
A lot of these scenes are particularly dear to me because I got to shoot them in my college, in Xavier's. The Xavier's canteen is where I went to college.
Yeah.
After the first couple of years, I didn't go to classes much. So this canteen and sort of theatre and learning what I did about people, largely by trying to date them, I think.
I remember you telling me way up front. It's like, we are shooting this film in Xavier's. If I cannot shoot it in Xavier's, I will not make this film. It
Correct,
was
I
like-
remember that because at that time Xavier's was a little tough on.
They didn't like to let
they
people
didn't,
shoot.
Yeah, didn't like to let
This was-
people shoot. They did ads and all, but they didn't. Like
Very
to give
little
it
bit, but for
movies.
films, they really wouldn't. And I remember how insistent you were on that. And I was
Yeah.
like, dude, I don't know if we're gonna get this. It's like, because it was a thing, they didn't let you shoot.
But yeah, that really was where my college life occurred, and it was wonderful to be able to do a scene there.
मुझे लड़ना नहीं था, पर तूने कोई चॉइस नहीं छोड़ा.
मैं कुछ भी नहीं छोड़ूंगा बेटा. सब कुछ हाथ में लेके जाएगा तू.
But I'm really buying into it.
आज तुझे सबक सिखाना ही पड़ेगा.
As you were saying, the complications of writing and constructing the scene,
Yeah.
that extended also into the filming and assembling of it. Because as you say, this comic book scenario where someone is legitimately, inflamed and has been scratched on his face and is ready to fight.
And I remember Padam did that well. He did it sincerely. He didn't do it cutely.
आना साले. नीलेश हाथ छोड़. नीलेश हाथ छोड़, नहीं तो तेरे चश्मे फोड़ दूंगा.
Yeah.
He brought the anger to the character, which actually, while good, actually makes it even more difficult to travel that journey.
Yeah.
It's fun. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
It makes you laugh, and that's why we get away with it. You get Aditi's anger, but you need to buy into a particularly slow character here, because Jay is like dancing circles around him.
This is
ट्रस्टी हैं.
हाँ तो
तेरी धुलाई की तो एक्सपेल हो जाऊंगा.
धुलाई तेरी होगी, समझा?
हाँ, तुझे तो कुछ नहीं होगा ना. बाप का जो कॉलेज है.
ए, तू मेरे बाप को नहीं जानता. तुझसे ज्यादा मेरी बैंड बजेगी.
क्या बोलेंगे? ऐसे नहीं करना चाहिए बेटे. नेक्स्ट टाइम मत करना. खत्म.
अबे छोड़, हिटलर है मेरा बाप, हिटलर.
क्या करेंगे?
सबसे पहले तो मेरी पॉकेट मनी रोक लेगा यार. हर बार पुट्ठा ही करता है.
क्या बात कर रहा है यार? तो फिर तू कैंटीन में कुछ नहीं खा सकता?
बेड़ो, अपने एक से एक दोस्त है. ये नीलेश है ना? बहुत खिलाया. क्या नीलेश?
now he's hooked.
So sweet यार. अच्छे दोस्त हैं. सुपर. अच्छा सुन विवेक, इस सब के बाद हम दोनों में कोई प्रॉब्लम रहेगी या फाइट फिनिश?
फिनिश यार. कॉलेज में कोई गैंग और थोड़ी है.
This also was.
दोस्ती खाते हुए मुझे
I remember your direction on that also.
Of
This is Sholay wala.
Yeah, of course.
तो कोक दे यार. Cheers. Hey नीलेश, पैसे देना यार.
In the real world, you don't get away with this.
Yeah.
You get punched on your face.
Much earlier. Ek minute.
Yeah.
What am I waiting for?
But if we contrast this, for example, a scene where you actually do fight. I still remember that shooting the scene where Sushant slaps Aditi was hugely difficult for me.
While we're on the thing, let me tell you a story from release day of Jaane Tu.
Right.
First day, first show. It's near the latter part of the film, and we had snuck in and kind of watching the audience, and it came to this moment where Sushant is kind of needling Aditi and saying, "Kya hai? Who is it?" Building up finally to the moment that he slaps her. And from way in the back of the theater, I heard this thing, "Oh, fuck!" Oh.
And this is in a movie making culture where it's not that unusual.
Yeah.
So obviously we
impact of
ended
it
up
was startling.
making it as ugly as we wanted to make
Yeah.
it, as hurtful as we wanted to make it.
It was that startling.
Yeah, it was meant to be.
I
That was
remember
very
that
intentional.
guy's voice 16 years later, the
Yeah.
way it shook that dude.
Right,
And this
but,
same audience, they
yeah.
cheered.
They cheered,
At
yeah.
that moment,
Yeah.
when Jay hits Sushant, the audience erupted. It was an interesting thing for me because the first time I was watching an audience react to something that I had done.
Yes.
And to our film overall, their emotional involvement in it was startling. It's a thing to witness. Without context, I force you to watch someone getting their fingers cut off. You're going to find that very disturbing. You'll find that very upsetting.
I hope so.
You're a skilled writer. Can you create a scenario for me, building up to this moment where now as a viewer, by the time we get to this guy's finger cutting, I'm going to feel good about it?
In theory, yes.
He's a horrible rapist.
In
He's a
theory,
child molester. We see the...
We can make...
We spend in 90 minutes building up how horrible he is so that
you,
by the time we
you,
get to
can,
it,
you can write
you will
in
enjoy
a way
watching it.
that you just say, the guy deserves worse. It is possible to manipulate that.
So, what this is doing is creating a scenario where we feel good about violence.
Yes.
That is the problem.
That is the problem.
The problem is not violence itself. How do we feel about it? How are we portraying it? And how do you want me to feel about it?
Were there many instances of firebrand female leads? Because the general take in a Hindi film would be a taming of the
Taming
shrew
of the
needs to
shrew.
happen. Right? It was never, she's wonderful exactly for this.
Yeah. There's shades of that journey, in fact, with her and Sushant. She starts to go that way and we see that that's not organic to her.
I don't think she loses her spirit as much as for that moment she's briefly broken. But by the time she leaps onto Jay at the airport, you know that there's nothing that's going to stop her from being feisty and scrappy. Look at
Which is her authentic
look at the
self.
epilogue. The first thing she comes is wax off Rotlu's wig.
What this? I told you. I told you.
It was important to see violence robbed of its fun value for Aditi and her realizing how ugly it can get. And yet when we meet her again between the airport and them coming back, you know that this girl's spirit is unbroken. It's not like now, henceforth, I shall be reserved and well behaved. None of that nonsense happens.
You know, when I'm walking, people come up and they grab me by the shirt and they're like, Imran, I must know. Are you guys going to make a sequel to Jaane Tu?
Yeah, that's my Instagram DM
Yeah.
every day. Well, very shortly after Jaane Tu, I'd gone with an idea for a sequel to Aamir. At some point, Jay and Aditi would fight. Let's start the sequel where Jay and Aditi are on a trial separation because they're not getting along.
We were on a break.
Jay bumps into Meghna at a party. He's drunk. Aamir said, never refer to this movie again. I never want to hear anything about a sequel if that's where you're going with it. I don't know how to reboot fairy tales. I've never seen it done well. But I think it's equally fun to leave it to the audience to let them say, I think this happened.
We should make like a little coda epilogue.
Now, that might be interesting.
The gang sitting around a table,
Like one reunion, make a short.
a miniature, just a little add-on piece at the end of.
All right, let's
15 years later, the gang meets up for coffee.
I could do that. I could do
That'd be
that. A
entertaining.
10-minute film on that would be interesting. But in terms of a sequel,
But no sequel for you
No
people.
sequel. No sequel.
No sequel for you guys.
Just go watch it again.
I guess that's it for today. That's the only scene that we have to break down for today. Thanks all of you guys for watching. Don't forget to do the like and the share and the subscribe.
The
to,
bell thing.
The bell thing. Don't forget to subscribe to Aamir Khan Talkies for more such better
Wonderful.
than average content.
Yes,
Really good
yes,
content.
absolutely.
Really good content.
That was fun, man.
Thank
was
you,
fun.
Abbas. Good to see you.
तू बोले ग्लास आधा खाली मैं बोलूं आधा भरा मैं बोलूं कितना सारा